Okay, welcome to Live at 5 for a Tuesday afternoon. So glad you guys are all here. Really makes my day knowing everybody's here. Um, we are going to start off as we do every show with Hail Mary for the repose of the soul of Anne-Marie Escobar. And please, if you also pray for somebody else, please include them. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Okay, on with the show.
Listen, you're more than your successes. You're more than your failures.
Everything you got.
You got this.
You're the work.
All right, dig deep.
It's dirty work. It's work that hurts. Work that defines you.
Good, bro.
It's that fire that burns inside you. You want that smoke? Give him that fire.
So one of my favorite sayings is the only way around is through, or the only way is through, or the only way out is through. I've heard it multiple different ways and multiple different times. And I heard it early on in recovery. It didn't really kind of become a mantra. Um, but it's kind of what I use to get myself through a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, the only way around is through. The only way around is through. I have to face it. I have to face my fears, and I have to walk through them. Now, all those people in that video, they're all, top tier athletes. They're the top, 1% of 1% of people in the country athletically. They put themselves in the position of struggle. They push their bodies to the limits of exhaustion. And you saw videos of them putting in the hours, like we talked about Abby yesterday, putting in the hours. They persevere through every obstacle. They don't take the easier, softer way because the pain is the easier, softer way. Elite athletes or mere mortals like us, we all have the same choice between the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. That's why the pain of discipline is the easier, softer way for them. And that's why going through it is a lot easier than going around it, because going around it leaves me with the pain of regret. It's about walking through that shadow in the valley of death and not fearing evil because he is with me. So this came up yesterday, believe it or not, and I was going to do this topic yesterday, but you saw yesterday's show, like that dropped in my lap, and that's what we did. But so I had this customer upset that the job didn't go as planned. What I did not do is I did not dodge, I did not avoid. I confronted the situation, and I gave him a rational explanation as to what exactly happened with his job. Almost. It was an outside vendor that actually dropped the ball. It took 2 weeks to produce a job that should have taken less than a week, but that was the deal. They don't care. They don't care what happened. They just wanted their job. So I just tried not to dodge. I tried not to pass blame onto somebody else. I took ownership for it because the only way around is through. I made that up years ago, a couple years ago, to kind of put a visual representation. See, the only way out is through. I guess it's a Robert Frost quote. So while athletes put themselves into that physical and emotional pain, we all suffer from it. It's part of life. I get hit with waves of sadness out of the blue sometimes. It's part of the human experience. I think I'd be more worried if I was like some kind of an automaton, like with no emotion at all. and I know all of you guys do as well. Everybody has suffered loss. If you're at a certain age, many have either like had a debilitating illness or somebody close to them has. And when it hits, it feels dark, as if the sun is set and it's never going to rise again. And it feels like you're walking that dark path alone. The good news, all of that is a lie. We're not walking alone, and it's not all dark. I love this book by Max Lucado called You Can Count on God. It's one of my morning reads. I read 3 books every morning. Sometimes, usually, like it's just to get myself in the right mindset. I showed you the chapel on Saturday. That's where I do it if I'm in the office. But I hope I can be inspired and maybe it becomes a show. And the other day I saw something that caught my eye and I kind of logged it in the back of my brain here and it stuck. I said, maybe I'll use it one of these days. And today's the day. So it says, morning will come. And he quotes the Psalm, weeping will last through the night, but joy comes in the morning. And he says, anyone can give pep talks, but if God is who he claims to be, he sure as shooting better have a word for the despondent. Self-help manuals might get you through a bad mood or a tough patch. But what about an abusive childhood or a debilitating accident or years of chronic pain and ridicule? Does God have a word for the dark night of the soul? He does. The promise begins with the phrase, weeping may last through the night. Of course, you didn't need to read that verse to know it's the truth, to know its truth. Just ask the loved one in a cemetery or the parent in the emergency room. Weeping may last through the night and the next night and the next. This is not news to you, but this may be news to you. Joy comes in the morning. Sorrow will not last forever. Clouds may eclipse the sun, but they cannot eliminate it. Night may delay the dawn, but it cannot defeat it. Morning comes, not as quickly as we want, not as dramatically as we desire, but morning comes, and with it, joy. I just loved it. To me, that's perseverance. There's no greater achievement in God's universe than the sun rising. It's a new day. It's new hope. It's new joy. We know the sun's going to rise. It's going to persevere even through the clouds. The sun has God's help. But in this race of life, in those dark times, thank God I have people in my life. Thank God I have a God in my life. It's the beauty of being part of the St. Basil's community. It's the beauty of working at the Catholic Church. When my brother Jim died this past summer, there was an outpouring of support from those 2 entities. It was nearly overwhelming, and it still continues today. St. Paul says in Hebrews, therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us rid ourselves of every burden and sin that clings to us and persevere in running the race that lies before us, keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, the leader and perfecter of our faith. Father Mike Schmitz, for his All Souls homily last week, he talked about an Ironman. His family, they run together. They run all these Ironmans as a family often. And this one was in Canada. I don't know the year, but it's an Ironman. You have 17 hours to complete it. After they were done, they all showered and they went to the finish line and watched people complete the race. So he can tell it much better than I can. So I'm going to let him tell the story.
And pretty soon, it's like 11:59 or 11:59 plus. And remember, so distinctly, from back and to the right, there was this like just growing dull roar that's just getting louder and louder and louder. And as I was looking down this street, the main street, all of a sudden you could see this guy, and he tears around this corner, like he's leaning into the corner, like racing for everything he's got. Behind him is this massive like V formation filling up the entire road of people who had completed the race, but they're cheering him on, running him into this thing. When he came across that finish line, and everyone's going nuts. Everyone's going crazy. It was 11:59 and 47 seconds. Like he did it with 13 seconds to spare. But it reminds me of what is written here in the letter to the Hebrews. We're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses. So let's persevere in running the race. I don't think that man could have finished the race the way he did unless there were people who themselves they had finished the race, who went back and cheered him on. They couldn't run the race for him, but they could support him in this. And so when you think, there's no way I can finish this race. Like it's too far gone. There's no way possible that I can make it to the finish line. Realize you're not running alone.
Powerful. I think I'll put the link up in Facebook for the whole homily. It was for All Souls Days, and he was talking about the souls are going to carry us, but it's not just the souls. It's our communities. It's our circle. It's the people around us. We don't run the race alone. We don't wait in darkness by ourselves. We're surrounded by that great crowd of witnesses. And I know all of us are going to make it to the finish line just as sure as I know the sun will rise. So if you like today's show, please like it, comment, share it out if you think somebody might benefit from it. What about you? Are you running alone? Who carries you? How do you persevere in this race? Give a shout out if you made a comment. Paul Blum, my brother, glad you're here. Erica, live from West Virginia. I know. Hit me in the feels with this. Thank you for all your words, Erica, my cousin. She's amazing. She inspires me to do a lot of these shows. My brother Bill, put your all into making each day the best he can do. Brother, I'm so glad you're here. Crystal, so glad you're here. Was pretty powerful. When your son died, you can crawl into a dark hole tonight, but just don't stay there. I know, Arlene. Thank God for God. Thank God for all of you. So anyway, I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the inspiration. I look forward to seeing you guys all here tomorrow live at 5. Until then, be amazing, or just be.